The following is a segment from session 4 of the Honestly Better Mental Fitness Show. If you would like a list of all the segments and full sessions, please visit honestlybetterfitness.com/list. That's honestlybetterfitness.com/list.
Welcome to LH Industrial's Honestly Better Mental Fitness. I'm Mike Lomberg. I'm the president of LH Industrial, standing in the middle of a breezeway in the shop in Tempe, Arizona, to get an idea of what we do behind us here. I found mental fitness a few years ago, and it changed my life. It's changed my family's life. And now we'll bring it to all of LH Industrial and recording it to put it out for us to hearing. Thank you for joining.
So the antidote, right? I brought this in earlier. None of this is to criticize our family or our parents or blame. It's not anybody's fault. Everybody did the best they knew how, right? But it's just about understanding and accepting what was, and understanding who we are by looking at how we were shaped, and understanding the what's me versus the conditioning that I was raised in, and maybe undo. And when we're stuck in the, I just have to try harder, maybe we're looking at the problem wrong. Maybe we're playing the wrong game. Maybe we're playing somebody else's rules. So I'll bring in this quote again. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. Okay, I'll give you an example from my own life on this one. I love my sons dearly, and they're really powerful. I think actually I might have shared, and I had a thought that was a thought that I didn't like, and I pushed it down, right? One of my sons was like, oh, he's such an idiot, like, why's he doing this? And I was like, what? I don't think that about my son. He's like, that's not him. No, he's this way and he's that way, and no. And then this moment came to me. It was like, well, hey, idiot, if you don't think that, who just had that thought? It was like, right. Right, yeah, apparently I do think that, because I had the thought, and then it was, oh shit, I think this about my son. And I had to let that expand. I had to sink into that. It was like, oh, that feels awful. Okay, but I feel that way. So I'm going to allow myself to feel that way and move into why I feel this way. And I found deep triggers from my own childhood of the way my brother treated me, was the way he was treating his brother. And a bunch of things emerged from that moment. And I was able to have compassion on myself, and I was able to allow that to expand and then move through it. Where if I would have been, no, I don't think that, clearly not, and he's just this, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. And because I was able to embrace that feeling that was awful, a way that I don't want to feel, but I do. And now we're back to our beginning quote of the measure of a man is his ability to tolerate truth, right? And I think there was a truth in me that felt that. And if I would have kept setting that aside and denying that I felt that way, most of the time, 95% of the time, I didn't feel that way. But then that 5% comes and I snap and I'm angry and I act away towards him I don't want to. Instead of owning that part of me really does feel this way, and why I feel this way, and moving through that. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, which I did, I wanted to get rid of it, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. That's it. The way things are. It was the truth of the way things are. I do feel this way. And now I can move through it, right? The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Acceptance is the ability to be with things exactly as they are. I don't have to put rose-colored glasses on and paint my family as something it wasn't. I don't have to paint it as all black either, as Mike brought in. If we see the negatives sometimes, and sometimes we have to, we don't want to see the negatives, so we paint it over with positives. And sometimes we can't see any of the positives because we're so blinded by the negatives, right? And I think this is the ability to be with things as they are, to tolerate the truth as it was probably some really good and beautiful things, and some really horrible, horrendous things. And to be able to accept both those things is back to our two truths, which is a deep practice or belief that comes up in many of the world's like deep traditions of belief. And the core needs from childhood is to be both part of the tribe and be your authentic self. Family is a place to belong, where you are seen, loved, and embraced exactly as you are. And then I think family, I say that as family, and that's the ideal for family. That's the families we want to create. And then that's also how to embrace ourselves, because I think this is where all of this ultimately goes, right? What is my relationship with myself? Do I judge, criticize, blame, shame myself? I can't control what others do. Those are all external, but I can control what I do. And what sort of internal family relationship do I have with myself? And I think my last question for the day is, what message do you want to send to the world, to your kids, to your grandkids, to your nephews, to your nieces, to the people in your world? Today's goal was to become more aware of how we were shaped by our family experiences and becoming more conscious of what we are passing on, what we are living, the rules that we are unconsciously living by. And to acknowledge that there's no right or wrong way to be parent, no manual on how one should be, to be more aware of what message we are sending in the subtle unconscious way and bring that in line with the message we want to send. And I might say that for your life in general as well, becoming more aware of the life that you want to live and living it. Cool. That's what I've got for today. Thank you all so much for joining. I know we are at time here. If anybody's got questions that they would like to ask, I'll hang around for a few more minutes. I also would welcome the one-on-one sessions. They have been incredible. I'm deeply honored to be able to go through this process with each of you, and I'm excited to keep going through the changes that have occurred, and the transformations have been radical and profound, and I'm excited to keep going on this journey. Thank you for having me today and for sharing your time with me this morning or afternoon or whenever it is that you're listening to this. And thank you, Mike, for this opportunity. I've loved this. This has been incredible to be able to share. So thank you for creating this.
It was incredible, Travis. So that was the best one yet. And
Great.
Thank you all for the great video and audio on that. This is going to be powerful for people for a long time, but probably the most important subject that we can talk about, right? I mean, you ended it with love thyself, really.